Hello, I wanted to give a couple of my thoughts about the erosion of free speech. Um, I've traveled quite a bit and I've seen and been in places where you don't have free speech. And so when I come back to a place where I do have it, um, I really cherish it. It's something that, it's one of those things that when you have it, it's, uh, it's your sense of being. It's your sense of freedom. So having free speech to me is very important. And what I see in the last couple years, and it's grown exponentially, is the attempt at the erosion or taking away our free speech. And I'll tell you what I mean. Last night, I believe, there was an article about Joe Rogan, and listeners were calling for him to be canceled because he was talking about the vaccine and saying making it mandatory would lead to a dictatorship, something to that effect. I didn't hear it, I just was reading the article. Now, on first blush, one might think that's hysterical. It is certainly, there were things in what he said that were not true, and he admits he's not a doctor, and so one wonders, I guess the best way to say it is he should be more careful when he's wading into this issue. But many of his viewers like his free-wheeling speech patterns, the way he just says what's on top of his mind. I like it to a certain extent, but I don't like dissemination of information that is not true. That's what I have a real problem with. And then today I was listening to Chris Hedges, and I'll put a link into that and the Joe Rogan story, talking to someone on his show on Contact, going in depth of what they're really trying to do. YouTube and all these social media platforms have the ability to take away your freedom of speech if you're saying something they don't agree with or if they don't like. So that is something that we need to at least be aware of, to be cognizant of as we go forward. There's reminiscences of 1984, which is a book everyone, I believe, read in school, and if you haven't read it, you should. You should also watch the movie. George Orwell, one of our greatest writers, did a story about this very issue. So you should be aware of that in this context. And then there are people who, like TYT, asking for people on the other political side to be censored just for the fact that they don't like them. Now this, as Jimmy Dore points out, is an issue that's going to come back on you, because then the other side can ask for you to be canceled, eliminated, or taken down. So I think I've done this before, because I was just reminded this second of an episode in Family Ties where the great Michael J. Fox, or his character Michael Keaton, goes to university and he's learning about what that means, freedom of speech. And then the professor says, well, are there limits on freedom of speech? And it was a hilarious episode. If you haven't watched it, you should go find it. It was absolutely hysterical. Michael's also trying to hit on a classmate who he ends up marrying in real life. Her name escapes me, Polly, I believe. And he says, well, are there limits on free speech? Well, what about yelling fire? And he says, well, okay, well, yeah, you can't do that. And then he ran through a list of other things, and he goes, yeah, you can't do that either. It was so funny. I shouldn't spoil the rest of it. But yes, there are limits on free speech. But now governments are saying, well, if we can eliminate even more speech, then let's do it. And now someone has to wonder, well, where is it going to end? Because in the end, if they take away all your avenues of free speech, then you can, for yourself, imagine what can be done. China has free speech, but you have to be very careful what you use it for. I was told when teaching there are some things you cannot talk about, and the list was, as you can imagine, quite extensive. So, and then there's Turkey. When the people didn't like something and they protested, then they took away the benches for them to sit on in the open park. So, yeah, where is this all leading? I don't know. But I'm really scared that it's leading to a dark and unfortunate end. So this would be a great topic for a university student, high school student. Free speech, what are its limits? Should there be any limit? And if so, what should we do about it? Okay? Thanks.